How's it going, everybody? If you are a general contractor or run a construction business here in Michigan, then this video is for you. Today I wanted to talk about some of the basics around what insurance coverages that you might need for your operation to make sure that your business, your employees, and yourself are properly protected. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Brian. I'm an independent insurance agent based here in the state of Michigan, Metro Detroit specifically, and I work with businesses on their commercial insurance programs as well as helping families and individuals with their personal insurance, their home, their auto insurance as well. My goal with this channel is to pass on a little bit of educational information to you so that you can make more informed decisions around your insurance and then overall help answer any questions that you might have. So let's get into it. And before we get too far into the video, I do want to invite you to subscribe to the channel. And if you find this video helpful, useful, anything like that, please feel free to like, share, pass it along with anyone else as well. So let's start with the core coverages. First is going to be general liability insurance. And this protects your business if a third party gets injured on a job site or if there's property damage because of your work. It's very common that this is required before you even begin working on any sort of job. Then there's workers' compensation insurance. And in Michigan, this is a required insurance coverage if you have any employees. And it covers the medical bills, lost wages, rehab services for any injuries that your employees might have while on the job. Commercial auto insurance is another very important coverage. If you have company-owned trucks, vans, or any other type of vehicles, a personal auto insurance policy is not enough. You really need to have a commercial auto policy in place. It'll provide coverage for things like liability if you get in an accident and get sued, and then physical damage coverage for the vehicle themselves if they need to be repaired or replaced because of an accident. And the next coverage I like to bring up is umbrella insurance. This is extremely important for any type of business, but especially those that are general contractors and in construction. This provides additional liability protection above your primary policy limits. So in addition to whatever coverage limits you might have for your general liability, for your workers' comp, and your commercial auto. And it exists for those severe catastrophic claims that could potentially wipe out your business. And depending on the type of work you do, you might actually have contract requirements with your clients that require you to have certain limits of liability insurance. And this is also an area where having this umbrella liability can come to use. And then there's inland marine insurance. And this provides protection for any expensive pieces of equipment you might have, expensive tools, and any building materials as well. This is primarily for expensive items that are constantly in transit, stored at job sites, and not at your primary location. So this would be coverage for larger items that your business might own, like excavators, skid steers, and also any sort of rented equipment that your business might use. You may also need an installation floater, which can be a part of this coverage depending on the insurance company that you're working with and how they structure their policies. But that would protect building materials and then things like electrical panels, HVAC units, while again they're in transit or potentially waiting to be installed on a job site. And now, depending on your operation and business as a whole, there might be other coverages that you need besides those main core ones. Builder's risk insurance helps protect buildings that are under construction. So depending on how your contract is set up, you might be responsible for carrying this, or potentially the developer, project owner, whoever it might be. But it is important that your project does have this coverage in place. And then if you own or lease your primary location, your shop, warehouse, office, whatever it may be, commercial property insurance is also important. This would be coverage for the building if you own it, and then if you're just leasing, it would be for the coverage for everything inside of it, your business personal property coverage. Professional liability insurance, also sometimes referred to as errors and omissions insurance, is also very important if you are doing any sort of consulting, design, any work that involves you giving advice that could potentially lead to a claim if something were to go wrong. Not every general contractor will need this, but it's definitely worth considering. And then other coverages that might not apply to every operation, but are worth looking into, could be things like cyber insurance, employment practices liability, and other coverages. Email scams, ransomware attacks, employee lawsuits, these are all becoming more common in business today. So certain optional coverages could be worth it. And now for a few things to keep in mind as far as general insurance and risk management go. As I mentioned before, you might have certain projects, certain clients that require certain coverage limits, such as with a high umbrella liability limit. So it is very important to understand and make sure that you are in compliance with those contracts. And the overall size of your business, the type of work you do, and whether you use subcontractors and the amount of subcontractors you use can all impact the amount of coverage you need and the types of coverage. And if you do use subcontractors, it is very important to make sure there aren't certain exclusions in your policy around subcontracted work or other broad general exclusions around certain type of work, such as with exclusions around commercial or residential. And also another thing to note with subcontractors, it is very important that one, you have a subcontractor agreement in place that requires them to carry their own insurance coverage. And then second is that you are collecting certificates of insurance for these subcontractors and staying up to date with them. Whenever their policies expire, that you get updated certs. This is so that your operation isn't taking on any unwanted, unnecessary risk for exposures that you don't want. And then in general, it is always a good idea to have a formal, written out safety manual in place for your business. And if you have company vehicles, having a formal fleet safety management program is also very important. A distracted driving policy, things like that. These can help reduce the amount of claims your business has, which in turn will help keep your premiums lower over time. Every general contractor is going to be different, but for the most part, these are going to be the building blocks of your commercial insurance program to help make sure that your business is properly protected. So thank you for watching, and if you are looking for help with your commercial insurance, whether it's just getting it set up initially or you want a second opinion on what you have right now, I would love the opportunity to work with you and see if our team can help. There are a lot of ways to get a hold of me, and they should all be in the description below. Please feel free to text, call, email, fill out a contact form, whatever is easiest. And if you have any other questions about insurance, please feel free to either leave them in the comments below or reach out directly. I would love to help answer those as well. So thank you again.